Some of the most trusted flour brands in America aren't selling you clean flour. They're selling you flour bleached with an industrial chemical, and in one case, treated with a compound banned in more than 40 countries. And a few of them charge you a premium for it. Every bag looks the same, a farmhouse on the label, a name you've trusted for decades. But turn the bag over, read the ingredients, and a different picture shows up. Bleached wheat flour, potassium bromate, sodium aluminum phosphate. Today, we count down 10 flour brands to think twice about, saving the worst for last, a flour that's bleached, bromated, and still ends up in food you eat every week. Then the three that are actually real flour, from the best everyday bag to the single best you can buy. Every fact comes straight from the ingredient label. Let's get into it. Number 10, White Lily all-purpose flour. I'm starting here on purpose because this is the one you thought was the good stuff. For generations of Southern bakers, White Lily was the Sunday flour, the special one, the secret behind the lightest biscuits in the county. And a lot of people pay a premium for it, believing they're buying something better. So let me tell you what's actually in the bag, because this sets the standard for the whole list. Real, honest flour is milled wheat and nothing else. Maybe a little malted barley. That's it. White Lily takes only the endosperm, the starchy center of the wheat, and throws away the bran and the germ, which is where nearly all the fiber and nutrients live. Then it bleaches what's left in chlorine. Chlorine, to whiten the flour and weaken the protein. That's on the label. It leaves you with a soft, blindingly white flour that runs about 9% protein and almost nothing your body actually needs. Here's your first at-home test. Go grab your flour right now and turn it over. If the first two words are bleached and wheat flour, you're not holding premium anything. You're holding stripped, chemically whitened starch with a heritage name on the front. And it only gets worse from here. Number 9, Swan's Down enriched bleached cake flour. America's favorite cake flour since 1894, says the box. More than 100 years of trust. And it is bleached with chlorine too, sifted until it's 27 times finer than all-purpose. The finer it gets, the more of the actual grain has been removed. Now, let me be precise here, because precision matters. You've probably seen the scary posts online claiming chlorine bleaching creates a chemical called alloxin that gives you diabetes. Here's the honest version. Chlorine treatment can form alloxin, and alloxin has destroyed the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas of lab animals in studies. But that's lab animals, in doses far beyond what's in your cake. There is no solid proof it does that to humans at the amount in a bag of flour. So I'm not going to tell you Swan's Down gives you diabetes. That claim is not proven. What I will tell you is this. It's flour that was chemically bleached for one reason: to look whiter and bake softer, using a process that Europe, the UK, Canada, and China all banned years ago. You're paying a premium for a chemical treatment the rest of the developed world decided it didn't want. That's the real story, and it's bad enough on its own. Number 8, Pearl Milling Company Self-Rising Flour. The brand you knew for most of your life as Aunt Jemima. This one hurts a little because it's pure nostalgia. It's the biscuits and pancakes brand going back to 1889. The bag that lived in your mother's kitchen and probably your grandmother's. You assumed it was old-fashioned and wholesome. Read the label. Enriched bleached flour. Bleached again, same chlorine or peroxide process, same stripped endosperm. I'll give it one bit of credit because fair is fair. Its leavening uses monocalcium phosphate, not the aluminum compound some competitors use. Hold that thought, because the aluminum matters, and it's coming. But being the less bad self-rising flour is a low bar. You're still buying bleached, refined white flour, plus baking powder and salt that cost pennies at a markup. If you want self-rising flour, buy clean flour and add your own leavening. It's cheaper, it's fresher, and it doesn't come pre-bleached. Number 7, soft-to-silk cake flour. Marketed as the delicate, professional-grade choice for tender cakes. And here's the uncomfortable truth about cake flour in general. Soft-to-silk is about the most refined flour you can buy in a grocery store. Sifting it extra fine is just another way of saying nearly every trace of the whole grain has been engineered out. Then it's bleached on top of that. So think about what you're actually holding. The bran, gone. The germ, gone. Fiber, essentially zero. It is the purest, whitest, most nutritionally empty flour on the shelf, dressed up as premium baking. It'll make a soft cake, sure, but you're not buying food at that point. You're buying bleached starch. And the next few get more serious, because now we move from what's been taken out to what's been added in. Number 6, great value all-purpose flour, the Walmart store brand. I want to use this one to kill a myth, because it comes up every time. You've seen the viral posts. Your flour is full of bug parts and rodent hair and sawdust. So let me be precise. The sawdust claim is nonsense. The bug part claim is technically true and wildly overblown. The FDA sets what it calls a defect action level for wheat flour at an average of 75 insect fragments per 50 grams, plus about 1 rodent hair per 50 grams. That's the legal ceiling. And here's the part the fear posts leave out. That's true of essentially every flour ever milled, the cheap ones and the expensive ones. It's a fact of grinding grain, not a scandal about Walmart. So no, the store brand is not secretly poisoning you with bugs. The real problem with great value is much more boring and much more important. It's refined, enriched white flour. Same stripped endosperm as the pricey brands, which means the pricey bleached brands are not giving you anything better for your money. If you're going to buy stripped white flour anyway, at least stop overpaying for it. And if this breakdown is useful so far, a quick tap of the like button genuinely helps push this in front of more people who are getting fooled at the flour aisle. That's the whole reason I dig into these labels. All right, back to it, because number 5 is where the additives start. Number 5, Martha White self-rising flour. Remember that aluminum I told you to hold on to? Here it is. Martha White has been a Southern staple for over 100 years, the trusted name for biscuits. Turn the bag over. Enriched bleached flour, and then the leavening. Baking soda, monocalcium phosphate, and sodium aluminum phosphate. Sodium aluminum phosphate. Aluminum in the leavening in every biscuit. It's added to control how the dough rises. It is legal, and I'm not going to overstate the danger. But you are eating aluminum you never chose to eat, in a flour that's already bleached, and there is no reason it has to be there. Aluminum-free leavening exists. Plenty of self-rising flours skip it entirely. Martha White chose to leave it in. When you're 65, 70, 75, and you're watching what accumulates in your body over the years, that's exactly the kind of ingredient you get to say no to. Read the leavening line. If you see the word aluminum, put it back. Number 4, Pillsbury Best Bleached All-Purpose Flour, the Doughboy, one of the most trusted names in American baking. And the word right there on the front is bleached. In the United States, the law actually requires that. If flour was chemically whitened, the bag has to say bleached. So it's telling you if you know to look. That word means it was treated with a whitening chemical like benzoyl peroxide. And here's the myth I want to correct, because I don't want you scared for the wrong reason. Bleached flour is not going to give you cancer from one batch of cookies. That's not the honest concern. The honest concern is two things. One, benzoyl peroxide and the other bleaching agents are banned in the European Union, the UK, Canada, and China, because those regulators decided a purely cosmetic chemical treatment wasn't worth the risk. Two, the bleaching process degrades what little nutrition is left, including vitamin E. So you're eating a chemically treated flour, banned across most of the developed world, that's been made even emptier. The unbleached version of this exact flour exists and costs the same. There is no reason to buy the bleached one. Number 3, Sarasota and Hecker's unbleached all-purpose flour. Now, I'm going to do something that might surprise you. I'm putting an unbleached flour on the avoid list, and I want to explain exactly why, because it teaches you the lesson that matters most. Sarasota, sold as Hecker's in the Northeast, is a flour a lot of old-school bakers swear by, and to its credit, it's unbleached. No chlorine, no peroxide. That is genuinely a step up. But here's the trap. Unbleached does not mean clean. Sarasota is conventional wheat, and conventional wheat in this country has a bigger problem than bleaching, and it's one almost nobody tells you about. It's called desiccation. Right before harvest, conventional wheat is often sprayed with glyphosate, the weed killer, to dry the crop out faster so it can be harvested sooner. The wheat soaks it up, and it carries through into the flour. When the state of Florida tested popular breads made from conventional wheat last year, they found glyphosate residue as high as 191 parts per billion. The Detox Project has found whole wheat products testing over 1,000. So unbleached is better, but if the wheat itself was doused with weed killer before it was ever milled, unbleached alone doesn't save you. Hold that thought because it's the key to the good list. It gets more serious from here. Number 2, gold medal bleached all-purpose flour. This is the default, the one in more American pantries than any other. The flour you grab without thinking because it's always been there and it's always been fine. So this is the one I most need you to hear. Gold medal bleached is, first, bleached. Same chemical whitening we've covered. But that's not why it's number 2. In 2023, General Mills recalled gold medal bleached and unbleached all-purpose flour after it was linked to a salmonella outbreak. 14 people across 13 states got sick. 3 of them ended up in the hospital. The FDA and CDC traced the outbreak strain right back to the flour. And that wasn't a one-time thing. Back in 2016, gold medal was at the center of one of the largest flour recalls in history, this time over E. coli. The most trusted flour in America is also the one that has actually repeatedly made people sick. That's not a theory or a chemical scare somewhere down the road. That's real people ending up in real hospital beds in the last few years. A brand you trust is not automatically a brand that's safe, and that recall is the proof. And number 1, the worst on this list, All Trump's high gluten flour in the bleached bromated version. Here's why it's the worst and why it's not obvious. You have almost certainly never bought this bag. It's sold in 50-pound sacks to restaurants and bakeries, but you eat it constantly. All Trump's is the flour behind New York pizza. A pizza historian estimated that around 8 in 10 pizza and bagel shops in New York City use bromated flour, and All Trump's is the standard. There are roughly 2,300 pizzerias in that one city alone. Your slice, your bagel, your hard roll. This flour. And read what's in the classic version. Bleached wheat flour, malted barley flour. Then, right in the ingredient list, potassium bromate. Bromate is the one I've been building to, because it's the only additive on this entire list that the World Health Organization's cancer agency classifies as possibly carcinogenic to humans. It's been banned in more than 40 countries. The European Union banned it in 1990, Canada in 1994, the UK in 1990. It is still legal at the federal level in the United States, and the FDA hasn't reviewed it since around 1973. This is finally changing, and you should know it. California banned it starting in 2027. In January of 2026, the American Bakers Association pledged to phase bromate out completely by the end of the year. And this past July, Florida's Attorney General subpoenaed General Mills, the maker of All Trumps and Gold Medal, demanding records on its bromate use. To be precise, that's an investigation, not a conviction. Nobody has been found guilty of anything. But when a possible carcinogen is banned across 40 countries and still sitting in the flour behind your favorite slice, you have every right to be angry that nobody told you. So that's the 10, and by now the pattern is obvious. Bleached, stripped, and in the worst case, chemically treated with something the rest of the world won't allow. Which brings the real question, what do you actually buy? Before I give you the 3, one warning that ties it all together. Don't ever trust a brand name across its whole shelf. Trust the specific bag. When independent labs tested gluten-free flour blends in 2024, some very trusted names came back high. One popular gluten-free all-purpose blend tested around 151 parts per billion of glyphosate. Another brand's gluten-free blend carried about 147 parts per billion of a pesticide compound. And here's the thing, those same companies make some of the cleanest wheat flour you can buy. Same logo, but a very different bag. So read the product, not the brand. Now, the 3 that are actually real flour. Number 3, King Arthur unbleached all-purpose flour. This is your best everyday bag, the one you can find almost anywhere at a normal price. Read the label and feel the difference. Wheat flour and malted barley. Never bleached, never bromated, no artificial preservatives, and the company says so right on the package because they're proud of it. King Arthur has been milling since 1790. It's employee-owned, and it holds itself to some of the strictest specs in the business. This is the floor for what real flour should be. If you did nothing else after this video but switch from a bleached bag to King Arthur unbleached, you'd already be ahead of almost everyone else in that aisle. Number 2, Bob's Red Mill Organic Unbleached White All-Purpose Flour. Now we step up, and here's the upgrade that matters, organic. Remember the desiccation problem? The glyphosate sprayed on conventional wheat before harvest. Certified organic wheat isn't allowed to be sprayed with glyphosate at all. So going organic is how you actually attack that hidden residue at the root. Bob's Red Mill Organic is unbleached, unbromated, and unenriched, which means no chemical whitening, no possible carcinogen, and no synthetic additives. Just organic wheat. It's an employee-owned company that's been doing this since 1978. This is the bag for the person who wants clean flour and is willing to pay $1 or $2 more to get it. And number 1, the single best flour you can buy. Certified, glyphosate residue-free, whole grain flour like Pillsbury brand. Here's why it wins. It solves every single problem on this list at once. It's whole grain, so nothing is stripped out. The bran and the germ, the fiber and the nutrients, all still there. It's unbleached and unbromated, so none of the chemical treatments. It's non-GMO project verified. And this is the part that puts it over the top. It's certified glyphosate residue-free, tested by a third party down to a level stricter than organic requires. Organic tells you the farmer didn't spray it. Glyphosate residue-free means somebody actually tested the flour and confirmed it. That's the difference between a promise and proof. A farm-direct, whole-grain, tested clean flour is the closest thing to real, honest flour you can put in your kitchen. If you're baking for your own health at this stage of your life, this is the one. So here's everything, boiled down to one rule you can use for the rest of your life. Buy flour with one honest ingredient: flour. Unbleached, unbromated. If the bag says bleached, put it back. If you see bromate or aluminum, put it back. And if you can, go organic and whole grain, because that's how you beat the weed killer nobody warned you about. One ingredient, unbleached, organic if possible. That's it. That's the whole game. And one last thing, because I promised you the truth from the label, I'll give you one more. Enrichment. Those added B vitamins and iron you see listed is not the villain here. That was actually a public health win that wiped out real deficiency diseases in this country. The villains are the bleaching, the bromate, and the stripping. Don't let anyone sell you fear about the wrong thing. Get angry about the right thing. If you thought the flour aisle was bad, wait until you see what's been happening in the olive oil bottle you trust, because that industry has been running almost the exact same operation. And the fake is easier to spot than you think. If this helped you shop smarter, subscribe so the next investigation finds you. And share this with someone you love who's still buying the bleached bag. It might be the cheapest health decision they make all year.